Remember when that cheating couple got caught on the kiss cam at the Coldplay concert? What really happened that night? And did those two stay together? Now this story starts with this woman, Kristin. And Kristin is about 53 years old, living on the East Coast. And one day in 2024, something pretty cool happens to her. She goes on a job interview for this billion-dollar data company called Astronomer. And she ends up meeting the company's CEO, this guy, Andy. And Andy and the company eventually hire Kristin to work as head of HR, which now makes Andy her boss. And soon she and Andy are working together and talking every day, like normal coworkers. And apparently Kristin thinks Andy is fine. Here's the thing though, she's actually married. However, it's not really that simple. Her marriage isn't going all that well. In fact, she and her husband are officially separated. So at work, Kristin chats with Andy and talks to him about her separation, and Andy tells her that his marriage isn't going very well either, and they actually kind of bond over this. And over time, they grow closer and closer. And even though Kristin knows they can't date because, he's her boss and she's the head of HR, and that would be an HR nightmare for the company, Kristin apparently can't help but have romantic thoughts about Andy. And of course she can't. Look at this handsome motherfucker right here. Anyway, then, at some point in 2025, Kristin's friends give her tickets to a Coldplay concert. And when she gets an extra ticket, she knows exactly who she wants to invite as her plus one. Her boss, Andy. So she goes and she asks him. And surprisingly, he says yes. And Kristin is probably all excited to go out with her secret crush for the first time. But then, on the way to the concert, Kristin gets a text from her daughter. And that text is telling her that Kristin's husband, the one she separated from, is going to be at the same Coldplay concert. And Kristin's probably thinking, no big deal. It's a little awkward, but, there's a lot of people there. He probably won't even see me. And so Andy and Kristin arrive at the concert. And, it's Coldplay, so the stadium is packed. So they're there, and they're enjoying the band, and they're having some drinks, and they're getting a little tipsy, and they're dancing around. And since they're in a private VIP section, Kristin feels like no one will see them. And there, things start to get a little flirty between her and Andy. And they end up kissing. Which, as the head of HR, kissing your boss is a big no-no. But f*** it. Who's gonna know? Am I right? And so it's at that moment that Andy is standing behind her, and she takes his hands and she wraps them around her. And Kristin is so focused on Andy that she doesn't hear Coldplay's lead singer, Chris Martin, on stage announce that they're going to put some fans in the crowd up on the Jumbotron as part of the show so that he can, sing to them or whatever.
So if you look at the screens, we're going to come looking and see who's out there to sing along to.
And that is when kaboom! Kristin looks up and she sees herself on a giant screen in front of 50,000 people.
Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
And their reaction lets the entire stadium know that they were doing something that they weren't supposed to be doing. So Kristin's good time suddenly turns into panic. She knows her estranged husband is in the crowd, and he must have seen her, and that's pretty awkward. While Andy, he's having problems too. He's also married. What if someone saw him and tells his wife? And then it dawns on the both of them. What if someone from work is here at the concert and just saw us? Andy and Kristin could get reported and lose their jobs. So immediately, they leave the concert, and they drive back to Kristin's place. And there, they get on her computer and they start writing a joint email to the board of directors explaining what happened. Because, they're trying to save their jobs. And they work on this email for a while. Then, around 4 a.m., Kristin gets a text from her husband, the one she separated from. And he sends her a screenshot of the Jumbotron footage that someone had uploaded to TikTok. And he says, "I think you should know about this." So now she realizes that this footage of her is on the internet. So not only are the board of directors going to find out about this, but the whole world is about to find out. And overnight, this footage of them starts getting traction and it blows the fuck up, getting over 100 million views across many platforms in just a few days. I mean, this story is everywhere online. Traditional news outlets are talking about it. Late night talk show hosts are making jokes about it. People go and they start posting comments about it on Kristin and Andy's LinkedIn pages. People start reenacting it on the jumbo screen at other sporting events and concerts. And poor Kristin, she can't believe this is getting this much attention. Like every time she picks up her phone or turns on the TV, there the footage is. Meanwhile, Astronomer, the billion-dollar data company that Andy and Kristin work for, the execs are watching all this go down. And they're wondering how to publicly respond as a company, because, this is making them look bad too. Like, should they fire Andy and Kristin? Should they say something to the public? Well, at the end of it all, they decide that they want to cash in on all the attention that this is bringing them. So instead of playing it down, they add fuel to the fire. They go and they hire Gwyneth Paltrow, the famous actress, the actual ex-wife of Coldplay's lead singer, to do an ad for their company.
Hi, I'm Gwyneth Paltrow.
And the ad basically makes fun of the whole Coldplay kiss cam situation. And so Kristin sees this ad and she gets all pissed off at Gwyneth Paltrow for doing it, but, whatever. There's not much she can do. And so she's hoping that now everyone has had their laugh and, maybe the public can just move on and forget about all this. Until... for some reason, this is one of those memes that people online just can't seem to let go. And from there, random-ass people decide to make Kristin and Andy's life a living hell. People start creating fake Facebook profiles using Kristin's husband's name and Andy's wife's name. People start messaging their spouses, which forces the spouses to have to delete all their social media accounts. People start spreading rumors and conspiracies about them, like that Andy is allegedly wanting to sue Chris Martin for invasion of privacy and emotional distress. People even start doxing Kristin, and some of them start driving by her house at all hours of the day. Sometimes people call just to harass her and call her a homewrecker and tell her that she needs to watch her back because they know where she lives. Why are they threatening her? In fact, Kristin gets 500 or 600 calls a day from TV producers and news channels and whoever asking her questions about the state of her marriage. While paparazzi park outside her house and wait for her to come outside so that they can get a picture trying to see if she's wearing a wedding ring or not. And so poor Kristin, she waits weeks before she feels safe enough to even go outside again. And pretty soon after all this, Kristin officially, finally, gets a divorce. But Andy, however, actually doesn't. He appears to have reconciled with his wife, and they end up staying together. But ultimately, Andy ends up resigning from his job as CEO of Astronomer, and Kristin, she knows that she can no longer be the head of HR, so she resigns as well. And after all that, the two of them agree that it would probably be best if they never spoke again. And as far as I've read, they actually haven't spoken to one another since all this happened.